Yo, Tanya, where are you right now?
I was just saying goodbye to a few of our relatives. They had to drive a couple hours to get here for your dad's funeral. I was just thanking them for coming out all this way for us.
Oh, is that it? All right.
Your dad touched a lot of people's lives, and you can really tell. My goodness, we must have had at least 500 people come to visit us between the visitation and the funeral. That's not even counting the people who just sent flowers or gifts to pay their respects. My hand is sore from all the handshaking I've been doing lately.
Yeah, and I bet your back is still sore from all the work you had to do to take care of him. Ever since he had that stroke, he couldn't do anything for himself. You're the one that had to do it all for him. And now you're free! Woohoo!
I don't really see it as being free. If anything, I wish I could have spent even more time to spend with him.
Yeah, I'll bet. He's the only person that liked you around here.
Trust me, I'm aware. You, your mom, and your younger sister Natalie have been nothing but unkind to me for as long as I can remember.
Yeah, for real. How have you put up with all the crap we've given you for the last 10 years?
Wow, has it really been 10 years since you guys started treating me this way? I guess I had forgotten. It wasn't always like this, though. You guys used to be kind to me, back when we first living together.
Yeah, and you have only yourself to blame for the way things turned out.
Excuse me? How so?
Duh, it's because you couldn't have any kids. I mean, why would I bother to marry you if I thought you were gonna be as barren as Antarctica in winter? Our family's business has been passed down for generations, ever since my great-great-great-grandpa. I have to have an heir. It's my responsibility as the only son in the family. But I had to go and marry you.
Do you think I wanted to be unable to have kids? I had complications for my miscarriage, and even since then, the doctors told me that it would be unlikely that I ever got pregnant again. You were all waiting on me hand and foot when I first found out I was pregnant. After that, though, everything changed.
Yeah, and? What do you do with a broken piece of machinery? Fix it. If it can't be fixed, throw it in the trash.
Your father never treated me like trash. He was always kind and gentle to me.
And now he's gone. And with the only person in the family who ever stood up for you out of the way, now the fun is gonna start.
What do you mean, fun?
I mean, we're gonna have the time of our lives treating you like a slave for the rest of your miserable life.
I am not your slave.
Maybe not before now, but things are gonna change around here now that the old geezer finally kicked the bucket. The family is now mine, and I get to use all of our possessions as I see fit. That includes you and the family business. The very ground you're standing on is now my kingdom. What I say is the law. My first order of business is going to be to reduce breaks and vacation times for all our employees. They don't deserve to rest. If they're resting, I'm not making money.
What are you, some kind of robber baron wannabe? Don't talk about the company's employees that way. They work incredibly hard to make the company a success. Your dad was always generous with benefits, too. You can't just take away the privileges your dad gave them.
Sure I can. There's a new boss in town, and I say no more breaks until our market cap triples. This is my kingdom now, and I'm gonna make it grow as much as I can. And now that I got my hands on my dad's money, I think I might just take a little trip around the world. Oh, but not you. You're gonna stay at home. Someone's gotta keep the place clean after all.
Ha! I wouldn't go on a trip with you even if you invited me. I'd sooner you locked me in the basement than you locked in a hotel room with you for a week.
That can be arranged. Anyway, hurry up and get back here once you're done saying your goodbyes. We're hungry, and you need to make us something to eat.
You're going to be waiting for quite a while, Jason. There's still a lot of people here I'd like to talk to. If you're hungry, order delivery.
You don't give me orders, I give you orders. And I say you're coming home to cook for me.
I don't take orders from you or anyone else. I'm your wife, not your maidservant.
Unbelievable. Even after all this time, you still have that snobby little attitude. Oh well, you're gonna be our slave for the rest of your life. We'll have you whipped into shape in no time with Dad gone.
Hey there, Aunt Millie. I wanted to thank you again for all the help you gave me with the funeral.
Oh, you don't need to thank me, dear. I was glad to help.
No, I do need to thank you. You drove a long way and spent a lot of time setting up chairs and tables with me. He would be glad to know that you did so much.
It's the least I could do. My brother meant an awful lot to me. I'm just sorry I couldn't come to visit him more before he passed.
I know he was thrilled that you came to see me as often as you did. He knew how much you cared about him.
I sure hope he did. I'm glad to hear you say that. I was hoping to stay the night to spend more time with you this evening, but I'm sorry that didn't work out.
You don't need to worry about that at all. Just know you're free to stop by any time you'd like.
I might just take you up on that one of these days. Now, if you're texting me, I can't help but wonder if those three are up to something sinister again.
It's just like I thought. They didn't waste any time ripping into me.
Oh dear, what did they say to you?
Jason told me that the reason they've been treating me so poorly is because I'm infertile and couldn't produce an heir for the family business.
You're kidding me? Did he really say that?
To be honest, the timing of when they started doing this made that possibility seem likely. They treated me like I was a princess when I first told them I was pregnant, and then after the doctor gave me the bad news, they started treating me like a red-headed stepchild instead.
I can't believe those three. What is wrong with them? I'm especially disappointed in your mother-in-law. She's a woman too. She should understand your feelings. Why in the world would she be doing that to you?
I really wish I knew, but since they won't talk to me anymore, I doubt I'll ever find out.
In all honesty, that may be for the best. So, are you going to move forward with the plan then?
Not yet. I'm going to try talking to my husband one last time. He was a good man when we first got married. I can't believe that he's rotten to the core like his mom and sister are.
Tanya, you're far too kind for your own good. You know that, don't you?
Trust me, this is the absolute last chance I'll ever give him. I'm a patient person, but I'm at my limit.
All right, well, if that's what you say, then I'll trust your judgment. Just remember, no matter what they say or do to you, I'll always be on your side. My brother tasked me with looking out after you after he died, and I intend to keep my promise.
Thank you so much, Aunt Millie. I'll contact you again once I have news for you.
I'll be waiting, dear.
Tanya, where the hell are you? I told you to come home and cook me dinner immediately.
Forgive my tardiness, Your Majesty.
That's more like it. Now pick up some steaks on the way home. We're gonna celebrate.
Celebrate? Hold on. You can't seriously be talking about having a celebration right now.
I am, though? Why shouldn't I celebrate?
Are you joking? Your father just died a few days ago. Today was his funeral. He was buried a few hours ago.
Yeah, that's exactly my point. Why do you think I'm calling for a celebration?
No, you can't be serious.
I'm as serious as my old man is dead. I've been waiting for years for the day that old nuisance would finally croak.
Jason, how can you talk about your own father that way?
Oh, would you like me to tell you what I really think about him? Because I can call him a lot worse than old nuisance. Oh, the way he would go on and on lecturing me day after day after day was just obnoxious.
Well, if you three wouldn't have been so horribly cruel to me, he'd have nothing to lecture you about.
What did we do that was either terrible or cruel, huh? We treat you like you're beneath us because you are beneath us. That's nothing for him to get mad at me about.
I am not beneath you, as much as you might try to convince me otherwise.
And it's not just you. He was always going on and on about how I need to make sure the company's employees are all happy.
That's because he was concerned about them, not just as employees, but as members of his extended family.
Don't give me that new age bullcrap. They're not our family, they're our employees. We pay them to work, not to be happy. And that geezer never even cared about his real family all that much at all. All he ever did was tell us what to do, give me unwanted advice, and shout at us whenever we treated you like you deserved.
Your father wanted to give you all the tools you needed to run the company successfully after he passed. That company was his before it was yours, you know. His family's entire history is in that company.
Shut up, my God in heaven, woman! I don't need that sentimental old fogey to tell me how to run a business. I'm fine without him. Better off, actually.
Stop talking about him like that. Can you just hold off for today of all days? You all weren't there, but I was here the whole time listening to people talking about the happy times they shared with him. Don't spoil his memory with your bitterness, Jason.
I don't want to spoil his memory. I want to erase it entirely. That old sack of trash never acknowledged me as being worthy to take over the family business. Not even once. Well, the joke's on him. Now he's dead and gone, and the company is mine, whether he likes it or not. I'm gonna be 10 times the businessman and family patriarch that he ever was. So, the king is dead, long live the king! My reign begins today and we are gonna celebrate!
This is insane, Jason. You're insane. Have you really been this anxious for your dad to die?
You want the brutal truth? If he took much longer, I probably would have started to think about taking matters into my own hands. And it's not just me, the whole family has been waiting with bated breath for the company and family fortune to fall into my hands. I mean, why do you think we refused to move him into a nursing home? We figured it would speed the process along if a loser like you was the one taking care of him. But that was a total backfire. Thanks to you not just letting him die, I had to wait way longer than I planned to take over the company.
I can't believe you, Jason. You're a monster. The reason your father was so harsh on you at times was because he cared deeply about you. He wanted you, the family, and the company to prosper. And this is how you repay him after he's gone? I don't mind if you belittle and berate me. I can handle it. But I will not sit by and allow you to slander your father like this. He was the one person in this family who ever treated me like family.
What are you gonna do about it, huh? The second you step foot in this house, I'm slapping an iron ball and chain on your ankle and working you to the bone. And there's nothing you can do to stop me.
You want to see what I'm gonna do about it, Jason? Just you wait. You'll see.
Bring it on! Hey, what the hell is going on here?
What do you want? Could you please stop blowing up my phone with calls and texts? It's really annoying.
You mean you've been ignoring me?
Yeah, well, I've got a lot of work to do right now. I'm trying to get ready for my new life over here.
You're joking. You mean you're serious about divorcing me?
Is that really what you wanted to ask me about?
What else would I be calling you for? You rang the doorbell, dropped a stack of divorce papers on the front porch, and left. What's wrong with you?
You'll have to understand, I'm not too keen on being treated like a slave and forced to wear a ball and chain.
That was just a figure of speech. I didn't mean it literally.
Jason, are you saying that you don't want to divorce me?
No, that's not it. I just wanted to talk about it, that's all. This isn't a decision you can just make all by yourself. That's not fair.
I'd say it's not fair to be treated like trash by my own husband for 10 years, but that's just me.
I didn't treat you that bad. It was my mom and sister who treated you the worst. I was trying to get them to stop.
I don't think for 1 second that you actually believe that. I think you should know, ever since you guys started abusing me 10 years ago, I've been keeping a record for every single instance of your abuse.
What? You have? But why?
I do journaling as a hobby. Didn't you notice? I wrote all the details in that journal. That was a piece of advice from your father, actually. He's the one who told me to write everything down in detail, dates, times, names, everything. He said it would come in handy once I divorced you.
No way! My dad told you that?
He was really worried about what would happen to me after he died, so I did what he said and kept on writing about you and your family's abuse for 10 whole years. When I showed that journal to my lawyer, he said that I would have an open and shut lawsuit against you, so you'll probably be getting a lawsuit served against you in the near future.
I don't believe you! You're actually suing me?!
That's right, and you are going to pay handsomely.
So then I was right all along! You were only ever after my family's wealth! And now you've trapped me into your dirty little scheme to extort me out of even more money!
It wasn't a trap. You're just a scumbag. You can't blame me for being a scumbag.
Whatever, I don't even care anymore. There's no reason for me to stay married to you. All you were good for was housework. I can just use a small fraction of my family's massive estate to hire a maid or something. And you want to sue me? Go right ahead. I'll have no problem paying whatever damages you win from me. It'll be a cheap price to pay to get rid of you.
I'm glad you're willing to accept what's coming to you. However, I'm afraid to say you won't be able to use your father's estate to pay me off.
What are you talking about? Of course I can. His estate is getting split up between me, my mom, and my sister.
And what makes you so sure of that?
Hello? I wasn't born yesterday. The law says that's how inheritance works. You really didn't know that? You're even more of an idiot than I thought.
No, I'm very well aware of how inheritance law works. Your father was kind enough to teach me all about it.
Wait, my dad talked to you about inheritance law?
He sure did, and that's not all. He taught me all about how wills work too.
Why would my dad take the time to teach you about inheritance laws and wills?
He wanted me to be prepared for when he died. You see, he left all of his assets to me.
What? You have got to be kidding me! That doesn't make any sense! Why would he give it all to you? You're not even part of the family!
You did your best to try and shorten your father's lifespan by denying him the care he needed. That's why he was so grateful to me for doing the best I could care for him myself.
Is that what this was all about? The reason you looked after my dad for all those years was because you wanted his inheritance?
I'm not like you, Jason. I'm a human being with a heart and soul. I think there are things that are worth more than money. I would have done everything the same way even if your dad was penniless. What is wrong with you people? Ever since your dad got hurt, you just locked him upstairs in his room and never once went to talk to him. Did you think he would just lie there and take it? Your dad's a smart man. His body was broken, but not his mind. He was fully aware of how cruel you were being to him, and he was furious. He left his entire estate to me in order to keep it out of your filthy hands. Oh, but to be more precise, he didn't leave everything to me. You guys did get your piece of the pie.
Really? We do? How much do we get?
The house that you're all living in is yours to keep. I'll be moving out as soon as I can.
That's it? We only get the house?
What do you mean, only the house? That house is far more luxurious than the vast majority of people that get to live in.
I mean, yeah, but still, that's all we get?
That's what your father determined, Jason. You have no choice but to accept his judgment.
No way, I'll never accept that. I don't believe it. You're lying to me. I know you are. That's it. You're just trying to trick me into letting you walk away with all of my money. It's not gonna work, Tanya. You won't get one single cent of my dad's money. It's all mine.
Once again, I'm not like you, Jason. I'm not trying to trick you.
I know what I'll do. I'll talk to Aunt Millie about this. She and my dad were real close. She would know if he really had a will or not.
I think that's a marvelous idea. Go ahead, talk to your Aunt Millie and see what she says.
Aunt Millie, are you there? I have a question about my dad's estate, and it's urgent.
Is that right? I'd be glad to clear up anything I can for you.
Okay, so my dad didn't really have a will or anything, did he? His estate goes right to me and my mom, yeah?
That's an interesting question. Why do you ask?
I know, it's an obvious question, but I just had to make sure. You remember my crazy wife, Tanya? For some reason, she's going around acting like she's the one who gets all of Dad's money. Isn't that ridiculous? Sorry for wasting your time with such a stupid question.
If it really was a stupid question, you didn't need to ask me at all. It seems that Tanya already told you everything.
Wait, you can't be serious!
I am, Jason. Your dad's entire estate is going to Tanya, not you, your mother, or your sister. She gets everything but the house.
Good one, Aunt Millie. You always loved a good joke. Okay, for real now, I get my dad's money, right?
No, Jason, I'm not joking. This is the truth.
No! There's no way that can be right. I mean, we're his family. I'm his son.
And Tanya is his daughter-in-law. Does that make her family?
For now, maybe, but she said she's gonna divorce me.
And why do you suppose that is, Jason? Don't you think the way you lot have been treating her might have brought this on? You might have never had thought about Tanya that way, but for my brother, she was every bit his family. In fact, I'd say she was closer to his heart than any of you, even your mother. In any case, he did have a last will and testament, and it clearly outlines how his estate is going to be divided. You get the house, Tanya gets everything else. I was present when he signed it and was notarized, and he had me holding onto it for safekeeping. So the document carries the full force of law behind it. You can't do anything to change it now.
No, Aunt Millie, you don't understand. This was all Tanya's plan from the beginning. She tricked my dad into believing a bunch of lies about us, and she made him write that will.
I don't know why you would think he needed to be forced to write that will.
Isn't it obvious? He was my dad! There wasn't a single person in the world who wanted him to get better more than I did! Me, my mom, and my sister all worked our butts off in order to take care of him after he got sick and couldn't get out of bed anymore! But while we were taking care of him, Tanya was going out and wasting all our family's money on alcohol, gambling, expensive clothing, you name it! So you see, we can't allow an evil, manipulative she-devil like her to steal our family's fortune from us.
You know, I've heard some mighty pathetic lies in my day, but that one really takes the cake.
But I'm not lying!
It might have worked too, had it not been a darn good sister to your father. You think I'm completely in the dark as to what went on in that house? No, I've been visiting my brother regularly while you lot were out of the house.
You what?
Who was the one sitting by his bedside helping him to eat, get dressed, and talk to him? Tanya was. And what did you do? And what did you all do for him? Absolutely nothing.
That's not true. We did some stuff for him.
If you did, he would have told me about it. All he ever did was talk about how you never spoken to him in almost a decade. The last thing we ever talked about before his passing was how concerned he was about what would happen to Tanya once he was gone. He thought that the best thing he could do to protect her from you is giving her all the money she would need to escape you. He wrote the will in secret, taking every single measure to ensure this legal validity, and gave it to me before you caught on to what he was doing. I think that should give you a pretty good indication of how little he trusted you. And then, the other day, he passed away with Tanya holding his hand. I'm sure that's the way he wanted to go.
Look, Aunt Millie, there's more to the story than what you've heard, okay? In fact, Dad's personal doctor was saying that he had dementia.
No, he didn't. Your father's doctor was there when he signed the will. Give it up, Jason. Your father's final instruction to me were to do everything I could to protect Tanya. There's nothing you can say or do to get me to turn my back on her. I'm on her side permanently. Your father's estate is going to Tanya, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's set in stone.
No way! This can't be happening!
And that's all I have to say to you. Your father didn't see you as his family at the end of his life, so you're nothing to me anymore either. Come what may, don't ever contact me or Tanya again.
It's just like you said, Tanya. All of Dad's money, all of his assets, all of his stuff is yours.
It's just too bad you had to waste 10 minutes of Aunt Millie's life confirming what I already told you. Just be glad you're getting the house like I said.
Yeah, it's whatever. I'll make back all that money in no time.
Oh, are you now?
Of course I am. You might have gotten his money, but I still have the company. The company's shareholders already voted to make me the next CEO. So now you're gonna see what I'm really capable of. Under my leadership, the family business is gonna expand more than anyone ever thought possible.
Well, I sure hope you're right. You're going to owe me a ton of money once I sue you for your decades of abuse.
Yeah, whatever. I'll pay up. Just do me a favor and don't come crawling to me for help when you blow through my dad's money, okay?
You don't need to lie to me twice.
Hi there, Tanya. How are you doing these days? Hey, can we talk for a minute?
What? You? What do you want? I thought it was clear that I didn't want to hear from you again.
About the damages you got awarded from your lawsuit. Do you think you might be able to give us some time to come up with the money?
Why should I?
Wow, it's just, we don't have any money.
Excuse me? No money? Aren't you the CEO of your family's business? You told me you were going to bring the company to newfound dominance in your industry. What happened to that?
Yeah, about that. I kinda got fired.
Go on. Tell me all about it.
Yeah, I was doing just fine as the CEO. I was making all sorts of changes, promoting efficiency, reducing waste, but the employees were constantly complaining. They convened a shareholders meeting last month and voted on my continued leadership, and I lost.
All's fair in love, war, and capitalism, I guess.
They betrayed me! They betrayed the family! That company has had a family member at the helm for over 5 generations! It's my divine right to lead that company! But now those greedy, lazy losers have ripped it away from me!
Oh my goodness. You mean the company's employee didn't appreciate your policies of denying them their legally mandated vacation and break time? Color me shocked.
Right? What's the matter with them? I'm paying them to work, not to sit around at home or in the break room.
You're totally right, Jason. With an attitude like that, it's a total shock why they want you gone.
Yeah, but I don't want to talk about that anymore. It is what it is. I'm done with it. But can we talk about the payments from the lawsuit?
No, we can't. You'll be making every single payment on time, or else. Period.
Man. Hey, what are you doing these days? If you haven't found another guy, would you be willing to consider getting back together with me?
No, you did not just ask me that. There's no way you would be so brazen.
I mean, why not? We were together for a long time, weren't we? And we were madly in love with each other once. We've been divorced for a year now, so I figured that would be enough time for us both to, cool off a little. My mom and sister both miss you too. It took all this time apart from you to realize how much we needed you.
Well, I'm glad you had this epiphany.
So what do you say? Can we try to start again?
Why, Jason? So you and your family can make me your slave like you wanted a year ago?
Hey, that's all in the past. We wouldn't do that to you.
Yes, you absolutely would do that. And it's precisely because you are that kind of person that everyone close to you starts to hate you. Wake up, Jason. There's not a single person on this planet, least of all of you, who deserves to treat everyone around them like disposable trash. I don't care if you're dealing with your wife, your siblings, your friends, your employees, or some homeless person begging for money. Every person you meet has human dignity, and you need to learn to respect that. If you don't, then you're only going to keep on losing allies in your life. I hope you take care of your mom and sister because they're all you have left now.
You can't leave me alone with them. They don't work, they don't clean, they don't do anything. I can't handle life with them anymore. I just can't take it. They're monsters. Please, Tanya, you're the only one I can turn to now.
I don't think you're in any position to be calling them monsters. If you ask me, the thing that ticks you off most about them is probably simply that they remind you too much of yourself. Whatever it is, it must run in the family. Maybe you all carry a recessive trait of being obnoxious jerks. Anyways, good luck dealing with them. And whatever happens to you and now on, just remember that I will always be here
To laugh at your misfortune. Bye.
Hi, Aunt Millie. How have you been lately?
Tanya, it's so wonderful to hear from you. To what do I owe the pleasure of hearing from you today?
Actually, I just got a message from Jason.
Uh-oh, what did he want?
He told me that the company shareholders fire him as a CEO and he's really hard up for money. And get this, he even asked if I wanted to get back together with him.
Well, some people just don't have any shame, I guess.
If he was desperate enough to come to me for help, I thought there was a chance he might come to you next. Just wanted to give you a heads up before he does.
I appreciate that, dear. I'll keep my guard up.
Do you think I might have left them off a little too easy? I mean, if Jason thought there was any chance at all of me taking him back.
I told you before, didn't I? You're far too kind for your own good. But that kindness is what made my brother's last year peaceful and happy. So, as selfish as it may be, I don't want you to change one bit, Tanya.
Yeah, but I think I should at least be a little more choosy in who I show kindness to, don't you think?
Yes, that is something I would definitely recommend you work on.
After getting fired as a CEO, Jason immediately started looking for an executive position at another company, but he was brutally unsuccessful. He was left with no choice but to take an entry-level position and start from scratch. Even though he had a steady income, his money problems never got resolved. His mother and sister are total spendthrifts used to a higher standards of living, so anything he earns goes right out the door. Jason decided he couldn't take any more, so he sold the family house. They split the money 3 ways, and Jason started living on his own. Even that wasn't enough to turn his life around, however. He was still living paycheck to paycheck. Then, he got the biggest and worst idea of his life. He decided to invest his share of the money from selling the house in a startup company, which went bankrupt. However, even though he lost his entire savings, he was still legally mandated to make his payments for me or face jail time. So, he got the second biggest and second worst idea of his life. Take out a loan for his full amount he owed me and pay it off in a lump sum. He definitely couldn't make the payments on that loan, so now he's spending his days dodging debt collectors. As for me, after I started living on my own, I decided to take a job working in a nearby orphanage. I would be lying if I said I wasn't sad about not being able to have my own children, but it's incredibly fulfilling to spend my time doing everything I can to make sure the children in unfortunate circumstances can still have a happy childhood. I know my father-in-law is looking down at me from heaven right now, and I want him to see that I'm doing as well as I can. I'll never forget him and everything he did for me.